Welcome back to the Coin Studio. What if I told you that the next coin you pull from your pocket could be a hidden jackpot, a simple Australian 50-cent piece that most people ignore, but collectors hunt for because some versions have sold for thousands, even life-changing auction prices. From the 1970 Captain Cook Commemorative to the Silver Jubilee, the Millennium issue, and rare era varieties, these everyday coins prove that tiny details like condition, minting mistakes, and rare varieties can turn ordinary change into serious money. And today we're uncovering the exact coins you should be checking right now before they disappear forever. Imagine pulling a coin out of an old jar, flipping it over, and realizing you might be holding one of the most talked about Australian commemorative coins ever made, the 1970 50-cent Captain Cook issue. Most people see it as just another old coin, but collectors know this piece can tell a very different story depending on its condition, quality, and rarity. Today we're looking at what makes this coin special, why collectors still chase it, and how a simple 50-cent piece from Australia can jump from pocket change to serious collector money when everything lines up just right. This coin was issued in 1970 as a commemorative design marking the bicentenary of the voyage associated with Captain James Cook. It keeps the familiar dodecagonal shape of modern Australian 50-cent coins, which makes it instantly recognizable. But the design is what grabs attention. The reverse shows a portrait inspired by historical artwork along with Cook's signature, a detail collectors often mention because it was considered an early use of a facsimile signature on a circulating coin. The obverse carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, as expected for the era. Even viewers who are new to coins notice that this design looks more detailed and artistic than the standard coat of arms 50 cents seen in circulation. Now let's talk about the technical details that collectors pay attention to, because these details directly affect value. The 1970 commemorative is made from copper nickel, not silver, and it weighs about 15.55 grams with a diameter of 31.65 millimeters across the flats. It has a plain edge and no mint mark, since these coins were struck for circulation by the Royal Australian Mint. The official mintage was roughly 16.5 million, which means it is not rare in ordinary circulated condition. That large mintage is the reason you still find examples in change, coin jars, or inherited collections today. Because so many were produced, condition becomes everything. In circulated grades, coins often show scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details around the portrait and lettering. These are common and usually worth only a small premium over face value. But once you move into uncirculated grades, the story starts changing. Collectors look for sharp edges on the design, strong luster, and clean fields with minimal marks. High-grade examples certified by grading companies can command much stronger prices because perfect preservation is far less common than many people expect. One thing serious collectors always watch for is strike quality and surface preservation. Even coins pulled straight from bankrolls decades ago may have bag marks or weak strikes. Coins graded in the mid-mint state range are not difficult to find, but top-tier grades are dramatically scarcer. Population reports show that very high grades exist in much smaller numbers compared with lower mint state levels, which naturally pushes demand among registry set collectors. Another point that drives excitement is the possibility of rare varieties or mint errors. While major varieties aren't widely documented for this issue, collectors still look closely for off-center strikes, die clashes, clipped planches, or dramatic misstrikes. True mint errors can multiply value because they combine the popularity of a commemorative coin with the scarcity of production mistakes. Many people overlook potential errors because they assume every commemorative coin is identical, but careful inspection under good lighting can reveal surprises. There is also an important difference between circulation coins and proof versions for mint sets. Proof examples were produced with specially polished dies and planches, giving them mirror-like surfaces and sharp contrast. Proof mintages are far lower than circulation strikes, and top-grade proof coins can sell for significantly higher prices than regular coins. However, even proofs usually remain in a realistic collector range unless the grade is extraordinarily high or the population is extremely tiny. Collector demand stays strong because this coin sits at an interesting intersection. It's affordable enough for beginners but still challenging for advanced collectors chasing top grades. Australian commemorative 50 cents are widely collected as a series, and many people building full date sets need this coin. That steady demand keeps the market active, especially for pieces certified by major grading services. Now let's focus on the part everyone wants to know, value. Typical circulated examples usually trade for only a few dollars. Nice uncirculated coins can move into higher double digits depending on eye appeal, while certified mint state pieces sometimes sell from around $10 up into the low hundreds depending on grade and buyer demand. Auction records for graded pieces generally show prices far below extreme internet claims, with many high-grade examples selling in modest ranges compared with truly rare coins. The widely mentioned $170,000 auction value is not considered a normal market level for standard examples. Such a figure would only make sense if a coin were an extraordinary anomaly, for example an ultra-rare era, an unmatched condition rarity, or one-of-a-kind provenance that dramatically separates it from ordinary pieces. So what does this mean for collectors and investors? The 1970 Captain Cook 50 cent is not a guaranteed jackpot in average condition, but it is a fantastic coin to search through because condition can create huge differences in value. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance might become very desirable if it remains sharply struck, highly lustrous, and almost mark-free after decades of handling. That's why experienced collectors always recommend checking old rolls, family collections, and forgotten coin jars carefully before spending or selling them too quickly. Before you finish watching, take a moment to look through your own coins. That old 50-cent piece sitting in a drawer could be more valuable than you think if it's in exceptional condition or carries an unusual mint era. The market rewards patience, sharp eyes, and knowledge, and sometimes the next great find is already in your collection waiting to be noticed. Keep searching, keep learning, and always check your coins closely, because the next hidden treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Next up, you are sorting through a handful of old 50-cent coins, and one coin instantly looks different. The design feels more serious, more powerful, and somehow more meaningful than the usual pieces people ignore every day. That is exactly the reaction many collectors have when they first see the 1995 Australian 50-cent commemorative featuring Sir Edward Weary Dunlop. At first glance it looks like a normal circulating coin, but once you understand what collectors look for, you realize this issue has become one of the most watched modern commemoratives. In the Australian market, this coin was released as a circulating commemorative in 1995 to mark the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II, and unlike many special issues that stay in sets, this one entered everyday circulation. It carries the familiar 12-sided shape that Australian 50-cent coins are known for, making it instantly recognizable in any collection. The reverse design shows a strong portrait of Dunlop surrounded by inscriptions honoring those who served, with barbed wire elements that give the coin a distinctive visual identity. Even new collectors notice that the design feels bold and emotional compared to regular coat of arms 50-cent pieces, and that visual uniqueness keeps it popular today. On the obverse, you will find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II used during that period, along with the country name and date. There is no traditional mint mark, since these coins were struck by the Royal Australian Mint for circulation. The coin is made from copper nickel, weighing about 15.55 grams with a diameter around 31.65 millimeters across the flats, and it has a plain edge. These technical details may sound simple, but experienced collectors always verify weight and dimensions because altered or damaged examples can lose much of their collectible appeal. One of the most important things to understand is that this coin had a very large circulating mintage, which means common-worn examples are not rare. Many people assume any commemorative coin must automatically be valuable, but the real difference comes from preservation. Coins that spent years in circulation usually show scratches, dull color, and soft details. They are nice keepsakes, but they remain affordable. The real excitement starts when collectors find coins that somehow avoided heavy use and still show strong luster, clean surfaces, and crisp lettering. High grades are where the market becomes interesting. Coins graded in mint state by professional services can attract stronger attention, especially when the grade approaches the top end. Even though millions were made, very few survive without marks because coins were transported and stored in bags that caused contact damage. A coin graded MS68 or MS69 can feel dramatically different in hand compared to an average circulated example, and registry collectors often compete for those top positions, pushing demand higher. Auction records show that high-grade examples do sell, but the prices are usually tied closely to condition rarity rather than the coin itself being scarce. Collectors also keep an eye out for unusual mint errors. While major varieties are not commonly known for this issue, off-center strikes, clipped planches, or strong die errors can appear occasionally and may command premiums. These are the kinds of finds that keep people checking their change, because a normal coin with an unusual manufacturing mistake can become far more desirable than a perfect standard piece. Proof versions also exist from special mint sets, with mirrored surfaces and sharper detail, and these generally carry different value levels compared with circulation strikes. Another reason this coin stays popular is collector demand inside and outside Australia. Many collectors build full runs of commemorative 50-cent coins, and this issue stands out because it combines a recognizable design with strong emotional appeal. It's also a coin that beginners can realistically find, which keeps interest alive year after year. The balance between availability and challenge makes it a steady performer rather than a short-term trend. Now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know: value. In average circulated condition, most examples usually sell for only a small premium over face value. Nice uncirculated coins can reach higher prices depending on eye appeal, and professionally graded top-quality pieces sometimes sell anywhere from a few $dozen to over $100 in strong grades. Proof examples can also bring modest premiums when preserved perfectly. The often-mentioned figure of $162,000 should be viewed as an extreme claim that would only apply to an extraordinary situation, such as a unique era, an ultra-rare condition outlier, or one-of-a-kind auction event, not the normal market for standard coins. Real auction records for certified examples are generally far more modest, showing how strongly condition controls price. So here is the real message for collectors. This is a coin worth checking carefully, because the difference between ordinary and valuable often comes down to condition, strike quality, and preservation. If you have old coin jars, inherited collections, or rolls tucked away, take a closer look at your 1,995 50-cent coins. A bright, sharply detailed example with minimal marks could be much more desirable than you expect. Keep searching, keep learning, and never ignore a coin just because it looks common at first glance. The next standout piece might already be sitting quietly in your collection waiting to be discovered. Next up, the 2005 Australian 50-cent World War II Remembrance Commemorative is one of those coins that surprises people because it looks ordinary at first, yet serious collectors know it has details that make it stand out in the modern market. The moment you hold it, the design feels more emotional and more detailed than a normal 50-cent piece, and that instantly makes people stop and look closer. This is the kind of coin that turns casual coin checking into a real treasure hunt, because the difference between an average example and a premium one can be huge depending on condition, quality, and rarity factors that many people overlook. Released in 2005, this commemorative issue was created to mark the 60th anniversary of the end of World War II, and unlike special collector-only coins, this one actually entered circulation across Australia. That means millions of people handled it in everyday transactions, making it both familiar and collectible at the same time. The reverse design shows soldiers and a solemn remembrance scene in a military cemetery, giving the coin a serious and respectful appearance that stands apart from the usual coat of arms design. Many collectors say the artwork feels almost like a small memorial frozen into metal, and that emotional connection helps maintain strong demand even years after release. Technically, the coin follows the classic Australian 50-cent specifications that collectors know well. It has the iconic 12-sided shape, a copper-nickel composition, a weight of about 15.55 grams, and a diameter close to 31.5 millimeters. The edge is smooth, and the coin uses metal alignment. These details matter because experienced collectors always check weight and dimensions to confirm originality, especially when coins have been heavily circulated or damaged over time. The obverse displays the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Ian Rank Broadley, with clear lettering that can help determine where level and strike quality. One reason this coin attracts long-term interest is the balance between availability and challenge. Around 21 million circulation pieces were produced, which means the coin is common in lower grades, but high-quality examples are a completely different story. Coins that pass through circulation often show scratches, fading luster, and flattened details around the design elements. Many people assume that because the mintage is high, all examples are easy to find, but truly clean. Sharply struck pieces with strong original shine are surprisingly difficult to locate. This is where condition starts, separating ordinary coins from collector targets. Collectors pay close attention to surface preservation. Because these coins were transported in bulk bags, contact marks are common even on coins that were never spent. A coin that looks brilliant under normal light may still show enough small marks to lower its grade significantly. That's why professionally graded coins often sell for more than raw examples. Buyers want confidence that the coin really sits in a high grade range. Registry collectors especially chase top grades because population numbers become much smaller at the very high end. Even a single point difference in grade can mean a major jump in desirability. Another interesting layer of collecting comes from mint errors and varieties. This issue is known to have some reported die flaws, including CUD errors appearing on parts of the design, and these can attract strong attention from specialists who focus on error coins. Finding one in circulation is unlikely but not impossible, and the possibility of hidden varieties keeps people searching through rolls and coin jars. Proof versions and special set issues were also produced by the Royal Australian Mint, giving collectors several formats to chase, including highly polished proof coins and even silver proof editions that differ from circulating pieces. Collector demand also stays active because this coin belongs to a broader group of 2005 commemoratives that many people try to complete as a set. Beginners like it because it is still possible to find examples at low cost, while advanced collectors enjoy hunting for flawless pieces or unusual errors. That combination of accessibility and challenge keeps the market alive year after year. When demand remains steady but top-quality supply stays limited, prices for exceptional examples can slowly strengthen over time. Condition grading is especially important with this coin because small differences can dramatically influence value. Circulated pieces generally remain affordable and widely available, while uncirculated coins with full luster begin to attract attention from collectors building high-end sets. Proof coins with mirrored surfaces can also command premiums when preserved perfectly, especially if certified in high grades. Auction data shows that many graded examples sell for modest amounts, reminding collectors that not every commemorative automatically becomes ultra-valuable. Quality is the real driver. Now let's talk about the value because this is what every collector wants to know. In everyday circulated condition, the coin usually trades for around face value or small premium. Nice uncirculated examples may reach higher prices depending on eye appeal, and professionally graded high-grade pieces can move into stronger price ranges when demand is high. The widely mentioned $145,000 auction value should be understood as an extreme figure that would only apply to an extraordinary circumstance, such as a unique mint error, an ultra-high-grade condition rarity, or an exceptionally unusual auction event. Standard examples, even in good condition, do not normally reach anything close to that level, and real market sales show far more modest but still respectable collective values for quality coins. So here's why this coin keeps collectors excited. It's common enough that anyone can search for it, yet special enough that the right example can stand out dramatically. The next time you go through old rolls, inherited collections, or spare change, look closely at every 2005 50-cent coin you see. Check the shine, inspect the details, and watch for unusual die marks or errors. The biggest discoveries in coin collecting often come from coins people ignore every day, and the one you overlook today could be the piece that transforms your collection tomorrow. Next up, the 1977 Silver Jubilee 50-cent coin has that effect on people. At first glance it looks like a regular circulating coin, but the moment you look closer you see a design that feels special, intentional, and different from everyday change. Collectors love this coin because it sits right at the intersection of history, beautiful design, and the ongoing dream that an ordinary coin could be worth far more than anyone expects. This commemorative issue was released in 1977 to mark the 25th anniversary of the accession of Queen Elizabeth II, and it immediately stood apart from the standard coat of arms 50 cent that most people were used to seeing. The shape is the familiar 12-sided style that defines the modern Australian 50-cent series, but the reverse design is what truly makes it memorable. Instead of a traditional emblem, the coin features a central wattle blossom motif surrounded by 25 overlapping crowns, symbolizing the Silver Jubilee year. The design was created by noted coin designer Stuart Devlin and remains one of the most visually unique circulating commemoratives ever issued by the Royal Australian Mint. The obverse shows the well-known portrait used during that era, with clean lettering and a balanced layout that collectors often examine carefully when judging condition. One important detail for viewers who are serious about values is that this coin carries no mint mark, because all regular circulation pieces were struck for everyday use. The coin's technical specifications follow the standard introduced after the original 1966 silver 50 cent was discontinued. Copper-nickel composition, approximately 15.55 grams in weight, about 31.5 millimeters across the flats, and a plain edge. These measurements may sound simple, but experienced collectors check them closely because worn or altered coins can quickly lose collector appeal. Now here is the part many people misunderstand. Rarity does not always come from mintage alone. Around 25 million of these coins were produced for circulation, which means you can still find them in old collections, chain jars, and inherited coin lots. That large number makes average circulated examples very common. But this is exactly where the real collecting story begins, because condition transforms this coin completely. A worn piece with scratches and faded detail is one thing, while a sharply struck, original luster example is something entirely different in the eyes of serious buyers. Coins from this era were transported and stored in large bags, so even many uncirculated examples received marks before ever reaching the public. That is why high-grade survivors are harder to find than people expect. Collectors pay attention to clean surfaces, crisp crown details, and strong brightness across the fields. Professional grading services often reveal how dramatic the jump in quality can be. A coin graded in a high mint state can command significantly more than one that looks similar to an untrained eye, simply because tiny imperfections make a big difference in competitive registry collections. Another factor adding excitement is the possibility of unusual mint errors or striking abnormalities. While no famous major variety dominates this issue, collectors still search for off-center strikes, clipped planches, or die flaws, because any error on a popular commemorative instantly attracts attention. Proof and specially presented versions also exist from annual sets, and these coins usually have sharper details and mirror-like fields. Proof examples in top condition often sell for noticeably higher prices than typical circulation pieces, especially when certified by grading companies. Demand for this coin stays strong because it appeals to several types of collectors at once. Beginners love it because it is easy to recognize and affordable in lower grades. Experienced collectors pursue it as part of full 50-cent commemorative sets. Registry competitors chase the highest grades, creating extra pressure on the small number of truly elite examples. This combination keeps the market active year after year, rather than creating short-term hype that disappears. When you compare circulation coins and uncirculated coins side by side, the difference becomes obvious. Circulated pieces usually show dull color and flattened design elements, while top uncirculated coins still flash with original mint luster and sharp definition in the crown details. This visual difference is exactly why some collectors are willing to pay much more for a coin that technically comes from the same year and same mintage. Preservation is everything. Now let's talk about value, because this is what every collector wants to hear. Most circulated 1977 Silver Jubilee 50-cent coins usually sell for only a modest premium over face value. Nice uncirculated examples can bring higher prices, and certified high-grade coins sometimes sell for tens to low hundreds of dollars depending on grade and market demand. Auction records for graded pieces show realistic selling prices far below extreme internet claims, emphasizing that condition drives price more than age alone. The often quoted figure of $150,000 should be treated as an extraordinary, highly unusual scenario, something that would likely require an exceptional era, a unique condition rarity, or a one-of-a-kind auction situation rather than a standard circulation coin. So what should collectors take away from this? The 1977 Silver Jubilee 50 cent is a perfect reminder that everyday coins can still hold surprises. Millions were made, but only a tiny percentage survive in the kind of condition that excites serious buyers. If you have old rolls, forgotten collections, or family coin jars, this is absolutely a coin worth checking closely. Look at the shine, examine the crowns, watch for unusual errors, and never assume a familiar coin has no hidden potential. Sometimes the most overlooked piece in your collection is the one that quietly holds the biggest story, and possibly the next great discovery waiting to be found. Next up, think about this for a second. You're digging through a pile of 50-cent coins that most people would spend without a second thought, and suddenly you notice a design that looks sharper, more modern, and a little different from the usual Australian pieces. That moment of curiosity is exactly why the 2000 Millennium Year 50-cent coin continues to fascinate collectors. It represents a turning point, not just in time but in Australian circulating coin design, and for some collectors, this coin becomes even more exciting when it shows the famous double struck or doubling error that turns an everyday coin into a serious conversation piece. The 2000 Millennium Commemorative was released to celebrate the transition into a new century and millennium, and it immediately stood out from earlier commemorative issues because of its bold, stylized flag design. Instead of traditional symbols or portraits on the reverse, the coin displays a dynamic representation of the Australian flag with modern lines and lettering that feel energetic and forward-looking. The obverse carries the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which collectors often use as a reference point when checking details and strike quality. The coin's overall appearance makes it instantly recognizable, even to people who are not serious coin collectors. Technically, this coin follows the standard specifications of Australian 50-cent pieces, but these details matter greatly when evaluating value. It is struck in copper nickel, weighs approximately 15.55 grams, and measures about 31.5 millimeters across its 12-sided shape. It has a plain edge and metal alignment, and regular circulation issues were produced by the Royal Australian Mint. These measurements are important because collectors often verify weight and dimensions to ensure authenticity, especially when unusual varieties or potential errors are involved. Even small differences can indicate damage, alteration, or sometimes a true minting anomaly. Millions of these coins were released into circulation, which means most examples are easy to find. That's the first surprise for many viewers. The coin itself is not rare in normal condition. You can still pull one from change today, and many people have several without realizing it. But collector interest rises sharply when the coin survives in high quality or displays unusual features. The regular design is already popular because it marks a major date, yet the market truly becomes interesting when you start talking about varieties and errors. One well-known variety tied to this issue is the encused flag design, where parts of the flag appear sunk into the surface rather than raised. This variety is believed to have a smaller production run compared with standard coins, which naturally creates extra collector demand. Some collectors connect this variety with experimentation related to colored-proof designs, adding another layer of intrigue. While still obtainable, these versions are watched closely by specialists and often sell for noticeably more than standard circulation examples when found in strong condition. Now let's move into the area that excites advanced collectors, the double-struck or doubling error variety. A double strike happens when a coin is struck more than once by the dies, causing visible duplication in lettering, design elements, or alignment. Sometimes the effect is subtle, showing only slight doubling around numbers or text. In stronger examples, the second strike shifts enough to create dramatic overlap that instantly catches the eye. Genuine double-struck errors are rare because quality control usually removes them before release, which is why collectors treat confirmed examples with serious interest. The combination of a popular commemorative design and a clear minting error is exactly the kind of scenario that can push value far beyond normal levels. Condition plays an enormous role in determining how desirable these coins are. A heavily circulated piece with worn surfaces may only hold minimal premium value, even if it is a commemorative. But once you move into uncirculated grades, things change quickly. Coins with bright original luster, clean fields, and sharp details attract stronger bids, especially when professionally graded. Top-grade examples are harder to find than people expect because coins often picked up marks from storage bags before even reaching circulation. This is why collectors carefully inspect both sides under light, looking for scratches, contact marks, and strike weakness. Proof versions also exist for this issue, including special colored coins released in proof sets, which were the first official colored Australian coin releases. These proof coins were made with polished dies and mirrored surfaces, giving them a completely different appearance from circulation pieces. Although they are collectible in their own right, most attention from error hunters focuses on circulation strikes where true mint mistakes can appear unexpectedly. Another important factor driving interest is the balance between accessibility and discovery. Because so many were produced, collectors enjoy searching for these coins in everyday change. At the same time, finding a high-grade piece or confirmed doubling error feels like winning a small treasure hunt. This keeps demand steady across beginner collectors, era specialists, and advanced registry competitors alike. The idea that an ordinary coin could secretly be extraordinary is one of the strongest forces in modern coin collecting. Now let's talk about value, because this is the part every collector wants to hear. Standard circulated 2000 Millennium 50-cent coins usually trade around face value or just slightly above it. Nice uncirculated pieces may bring modest premiums, and special varieties like the encused flag version can sell for higher amounts depending on condition and buyer demand. Genuine double-struck or strong doubling errors, however, exist in a completely different category. The widely quoted figure of $165,500 would represent an extreme, exceptional case, likely a dramatic, highly visible error combined with elite condition and strong auction competition, rather than the normal market for this issue. Most examples, even collectible ones, sell for far less, which is why accurate grading and authentication are so important before assuming a coin carries extraordinary value. So here's the real message for anyone watching and collecting. The 2000 Millennium 50-cent coin reminds us that value often hides in details most people never notice. The coin itself might be common, but the right combination of condition, strike quality, and a true minting era can transform it completely. Next time you see one of these coins, don't just glance at it and move on. Turn it under the light, check the lettering, inspect the flag, and look for doubling or unusual alignment. Sometimes the difference between an everyday 50-cent piece and a collector's prize is only a tiny detail, and the next incredible find could already be sitting quietly in your pocket right now.